Remember when polio ravaged the population of the planet? No?
Mm-mm.
What about smallpox? Not that either? Well, good. Me neither. That's because we have vaccinations that have been created for our society to prevent these horrifying afflictions. And they work so well that polio is on the way out and hopefully will be eradicated by 2018. And smallpox, thankfully, has been eradicated since 1977. Vaccinations are not just for one's own personal health, but they're in fact for the well-being of everyone else around you, as they minimize the amount of possible hosts that these preventable diseases can use to travel from person to person. As a chemical engineering major here at Pepperdine and the son of a radiological doctor, I've come to accept the presence of preventative medicine like vaccinations in my life is common suit, and so may many of you. However, there is a group of people out there who chooses to oppose vaccinations, and that is who the mandate I'm proposing to you all is intended for. I'm going to make my case to you all as to why I believe we should band together and petition the White House into action to implement mandatory vaccination regulations nationwide. We must take the first step towards doing this in order to make our social and educational environments safer for us all. To accomplish this, what we all have the capability of doing is banding together to sign a petition to implement mandate SB 277 nationwide by asking the senior advisor of the President of the United States, Valerie Jarrett, to take action in Congress and implement this mandate nationwide. Mandate SB 277 requires patrons of any public or private institution to receive the following vaccinations: diphtheria, hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenzae B, measles, mumps, pertussis, poliomyelitis, rubella, tetanus, and varicella, also known as chickenpox. The World Health Organization, or WHO, provides the global statistic that in 2008, over 1.5 million children under the age of 5 died as a result of preventative diseases they could have been prevented if they had vaccinations. This is about 17% of the global mortality rate of children under 5 years old. To put that into perspective, that's about 435 undergraduate classes at Pepperdine. Mandate SB 277 has already been implemented in California with great success. For according to Our World in Data, measles and poliomyelitis have decreased over 99% in the United States and the world since vaccinations has been implemented. However, diseases like pneumococca have only seen as little as 40% decrease since vaccinations have been implemented. So this is why we need SB 277. Now that I have told you all some of the logical reasons to support the vaccination movement, I will now provide some context as to why people choose otherwise. Now, first things first, vaccinations do not cause autism. This is the result of a fraudulent research paper that was published in 1998 by one Andrew Wakefield, as pictured above. He claimed that a preservative used in older vaccinations known as ethyl mercury was correlated to autism in children. Now, proceeding after publication, no other scientist or researcher could reproduce any of his data or results to this day. And it was evident that he simply used this self-induced vaccination scare to profit off of litigation-driven testing and to drive people to his own form of vaccinations, which he conveniently claimed did not cause autism. For, as referenced from Newsweek's Global's 2015 article on Andrew Wakefield, investigative journalists revealed that just before his publication of his fraudulent research, he filed an application with the United Kingdom Patent Office for his own vaccination therapeutic agent, which, as I said, he conveniently claimed did not cause autism. There's blatant ulterior motives present here in which he positively was pursuing personal financial gain and not the betterment of clinical medicine. According to ToxNet Toxicology Data Network of the United States National Library of Medicine, even when human adults and children alike ingested the byproduct of ethyl mercury in older vaccinations known as thimerosal, they experienced no indication of spontaneous autism in their brain, as the researchers observed. And in an additional study conducted by Care Health and Development in Denmark, there was no trend of increase in autism up until 1990 when ethyl mercury was used in older vaccinations. And there was in fact a trend of increase in autism in newborn children after they were discontinued in 1990, showing that there was no correlation. Now that we understand the source of people's error, we can better appreciate how much vaccinations have benefited the lives of millions and drastically reduced the amount of preventable diseases present in our society. According to UNICEF data updated in 2016, the global number of measles deaths declined 79% worldwide and 86% in Africa from 2000 to 2012, thanks to vaccinations. In 1921, over 15,000 Americans died from diphtheria alone before vaccination was created for the disease. Now, only a single case of diphtheria has been reported to the Center for Disease Control since 2004. We have now been through why vaccinations are necessary, the origins of people's misguided fears towards them, and their statistically supported positives. While we may never see an epidemic level outbreak of something like measles or polio in our day and age, the possibility remains ever present if we allow for people to separate themselves and therefore their children from these life-saving vaccinations. We cannot have another incident like that reported in the LA Times in 2015, in which 145 people were infected with the measles virus in a single incident at Disneyland. One of which was a woman and a mother from Oregon who was the first to die from measles, reported at the Center for Disease Control since 2002. This suggests that the vaccination rate in California was as low as 50% at the time, given how well the measles virus was able to spread. We must not allow the incoherent ramblings of one man's fraudulent research or our own lack of information to set us back by a century or more in clinical medicine and science. Well, the best individual way to support the progression of our species and the eradication of pestilence is to get vaccinated yourself. The next best thing you can do is to take out your phones for a brief moment and sign the petition that I have created to send to the advisor of the Presidents of the United States to implement mandate SB 277 nationwide. And by doing this, we take a momentous step forward as the human species. For in the words of Wayne Gretzky, we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. Thank you.